What's up, guys? Today we're going to break down the 3 types of shit tests that women will commonly give you and how you can pass all of them so that you never lose a woman's attraction again. Alright, so a shit test is something a lot of guys struggle with. Very few guys know how to correctly pass a shit test, and a lot of guys don't even really know what a shit test is, which is very, very unfortunate because girls will shit test you all the time, especially the hot girls. So if you want to hook up with those hot Tinder girls or just hot girls in general, you have to learn how to master a shit test. So let's talk about this. This video is going to help you guys become ultimate masters of passing shit tests. So there's 2 categories of guys who don't get shit tests. The first are basically guys the girl's not attracted to at all. You never see the girl walking around the street shit testing homeless guy. Like guys like, hey, can I get $1? The girl's like, oh yeah, you think you deserve $1? That's never gonna happen, right? Women don't shit test homeless guys or guys they're not attracted to. They also typically don't shit test guys that they're completely sold on, guys they're very attracted to. And this is not just looks. This is basically a guy the woman actually is really confident about. She's sold on him. She wants to fuck him, right? Those guys typically don't get shit tests. The guys that get shit tests are the guys who are somewhere in the middle, who the girl is somewhat interested in. She's interested in the guy, but she wants to see if she's 100% committed to actually basically being with that guy, right? She's not sure about him yet. And she's basically trying to take him from the maybe bucket and put him in either the yes bucket or the no bucket. And how you pass a shit test will literally determine which one of these buckets you go into, whether you get to actually bring the girl home or you go home alone jerking off. And make sure you guys watch until the very, very end of this video because we're gonna do something we've never done before and do an interactive quiz where I'm gonna actually text your abilities to pass a shit test, right? So make sure you guys watch until the very end of this video. Okay, let's first start off with what a shit test is not, because a lot of guys think that nowadays everything is a shit test, right? I'm gonna give you guys specific examples of what is not a shit test. So this was all started by a post in our mastermind group where the guy was like, help me pass the shit test. Now I looked at this, I was like, wait, why does he think it's a shit test? So it goes like this. He opened the girl with read your tags and looks like you're pretty valid. However, that Taylor Swift is kind of looking like red flags. Please don't tell me you're going to write a revenge breakup song about me. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of this opener at all. It's too gamey, too long, just too, right? Not an opener I would ever send, right? And the girl here responds with this. What the fuck, Taylor Swift is not red flag. Also, why the fuck would I write a song about you? I don't know you. The guy thinks it's a shit test, but it's not. It's the girl being confused by what he says. So basically, a girl who's confused by your tags, she's not shit testing you. She legitimately has no idea what the fuck you're talking about, right? So how would I respond to this if I wasn't somehow in this situation? I would say, well, we're gonna have to change that. It's been a while since a cute girl wrote a song about me, or something along the lines of that. Well, we're gonna have to change that. I want to hear, your karaoke voice, something along the lines of that, right? If I had to be in the situation. But again, like, I'm not treating this like a shit test. I'm treating this more of like a playful or even not so playful attempt at like, what the hell are you talking about? Here's another thing that's not a shit test. So the girl, this is a girl I was texting a while back and we're going back and forth. We're talking about her coming over and she messages me, are you clean? Right? Talking about STDs. Now again, if I try to treat this like a shit test and respond in a very playful, emotional way, the girl's gonna be like, what the hell is wrong with him, right? So I respond in a very logical way and I say, yes, you as well, I hope, right? That's exactly how you want to answer that. So again, not a shit test, right? That's more of a concern. Here's another one. How tall are you, right? And she also says, I apologize in advance. I have some superficial standards if they offend you, right? So I respond, I'm unoffendable, proceed, and I told her 6'0", right? Again, I answer the question very logically, right? So when it comes to things like concerns, objections, clarification questions, you want to be very straightforward and logical, right? Very simple. When it comes to shit tests, logic is your worst enemy. You actually want to be very playful and, sarcastic or use emotion, right? So very 2 different things how you press them. But here again, I respond with a very logical answer. Now here's something interesting happens. She responds with a legitimate 6'0" or nearly 6'0". Now that is a partial shit test at the very least, right? Because if she legitimately wasn't sure about my height, like if she was legitimate, she's like, are you really 6'0"? But yeah, she's responding with a little playful humor, right? So I treat it like a shit test and I say, legitimate, bring a ruler if you want, right? I don't start justifying myself. Oh, let me send you a copy of my driver's license. You can actually see how tall I look, or I'll send you a photo, right? Wrong, 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 wrong. I just respond with humor and you can see it works quite well. Let's take a look at another one. So this is also not a shit test. The girl's like, how do I know you're real, right? Some guys might treat this like a shit test, but that would be a massive L. So I respond with, you can add me on Instagram, right? So when a girl gives you a concern or objection like that, basically what you have to do is logically address it, right? So the way I'm gonna address her concern that my catfish is by giving her my Instagram. That doesn't actually do the trick because she says, I don't have Instagram. So then I sent her a photo of myself, which is how you would deal with that. And here's another one. So me and this girl are talking about making plans. She said, what do you want to do on our date? I say, spill a bottle of wine in my romantic balcony. She says, I never go to a guy's place on a first date. So again, this is not her shit shit testing me. This is her expressing her boundary and I guess her discomfort coming straight to a guy's place. So again, I'm not going to make a joke out of it. I just say stranger danger, trying to figure out what her issue is. She says, yes, well, I understand. We can meet at a bar first. Okay, problem solved, right? Concern addressed, right? So you can see it's pretty straightforward. And let's take a look at, I think this is probably our last one. So basically this is a conversation guys having with a girl. It's becoming somewhat sexual. They're talking about what they're going to do when the girl comes over. He says, I bet you like some back of neck kisses too. And she says, actually, hell no. I hate people touching the back of my neck. It's an ick, right? The only way this would be a shit test if she's totally trolling and kidding, right? But based on her tonality, that doesn't really seem like that's the case. She's just legitimately expressing a sexual preference. So the way I would respond to this would be something like, no worries, what are some of your other turnoffs, or something like that, something kind of logical and straightforward. Okay, so now that we showed you guys what a shit test is not, let's show you some examples of what a shit test is and how you pass them. So there's essentially 2 ways to pass a shit test, potentially 3 ways. The first way is by simply kind of reframing it and flipping it on the girl, right? So the girl shit tests you, you shit test her back, right? That works pretty well. The second one is with humor and exaggeration, right? Playing along. So the one where I said a ruler, right? That was me using the second method. I kind of just played along and I exaggerated like basically the situation, right? And the third one is just with a simple direct answer, right? And this one is only appropriate with certain types of shit tests that you guys will see as we go through these examples. So this is an interesting one. There's also going to be 3 types, 3 categories, 3 situations where you will get shit tests, right? Typically, the first one is going to be in the beginning of the conversation. The second one's going to be when you're going for the meetup, and the third one's going to be when you sexualize the conversation. 90% of the shit tests will come in these 3 situations. So let's start off with the one where basically the guy was trying to close the girl. So he says, she gives him a number. He says, added me on what? Added your number. Lol, sir, what? Only my like Peruvian cousins use WhatsApp? Please, no. Now, this is somewhere between a logical objection and a shit test, right? Because she might legitimately not like to use WhatsApp and she might be expressing her preference. However, if that was just only the case, she would have worded this differently. She would have said something like, oh, I don't have WhatsApp. Do you use SMS, right? She would have worded this completely differently. So because of the wording, this is at least a partial shit test. And he responds with the third strategy I discussed, which is just being like, very succinct and short. I knew you were Peruvian. Also kind of making a joke out of the situation. And it works. She says, I don't intend to use that app. And then he points to my apologies, right? Conversation. She says, we can talk in regular text. And here the conversation basically somewhat gets back on track. But this is kind of a weird one, to say the least. Okay, here's another one. Now, you're going to see a lot of once where the girl shit tests you when you start to go sexual, right? Because again, she wants to see, are you really that sexual person that you're, kind of acting like you are? Or are you just putting on an act, right? She wants to see, are you really a dom? Or are you just a beta, soy boy who's trying to be a dom? So basically, this is a sexual conversation I'm having with a girl. It's actually very sexual. I say, you look like you have a great pussy to eat out. She says, wouldn't you like to know? Right? Playful shit test. So here I do the first strategy I talked about where I flip it on the girl. I say, yeah, unless you're not into multiple oral orgasms. She says, oh, are you that sure of your abilities? I say, yes, confidence comes from consistent results. And bam, shit test is passed. I wound up meeting up with that girl a few days later and hooking up with her. Here's another one that you can get in a sexual situation. The girl says, can you be my Christian Grey? I say, perhaps you're submissive, I'm guessing, only for the right dom and his benefits law, right? So it's a little bit, she's pulling away, right? Again, I'm not going to start addressing this logically, being like, let me give you 3 reasons why I'm the perfect dom, right? That would be a massive L. I say, oh, I'd have you worn out on my bed, begging for more orgasms, and bam, shit test pass. And that is another girl I want to meeting up and hooking up with. And I also want to show you guys this because it's interesting. A lot of girls will shit test you actually right off the opener, right? Because she wants to see, are you a guy even worth pursuing a conversation with, or are you just going to be a waste of her time right off the bat? So I open this girl, hey, Trouble, do you call me Trouble, you sex addict? I say, yes, I did. So this is a third strategy I discussed where I'm just being very short and succinct and direct. And look how her tone changes. That was what I was suspecting. Indeed, one good thing, still can read proper English, and conversation gets back on track and wound up meeting up and hooking up a few days later. Right, so now we went through all the examples of the shit test. I showed you guys how to pass a shit test. Let's see if you guys actually have the skills to pass shit tests, right? So we're gonna do an interactive exercise. So I'm gonna read you out a potential shit test, and you guys are gonna have to pause the video and answer how you address the shit test, and then you go back to playing the video and you see if your response is similar to what I'm gonna tell you, right? So it's gonna be a really good exercise to see if you need to watch this video over again, or if you're ready to pass shit tests in real life. So let's take a look at this one. So this is one off the opener. Hey, troublemaker, why do you assume we're troublemakers? So that's like a semi-shit test right off the bat. Well, for one, you matched with me, and 2, your eyes told me, and she responds, my eyes lie. Okay, cool. So now that you have your response, what I would say in a situation like this, and again, you don't have to say exactly this, but this is going to give you guys basically the general ideas. I would say, your eyes shall be punished then. Or, you seem like you have naughty eyes then, right? I respond with playful humor instead of something that's like very logical. Yeah, so that's kind of how I would answer that. Okay, tell me if this is similar to your answer in the comments. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So also off the opener, I noticed something interesting about you, Maria. What's that? You seem like my type. How many girls has that worked on? Okay, so now that you have your response, what I would respond in a situation like this is one of two things. I might say a lot, but you seem like the one, right? Or none, I'm a virgin saving myself for Jesus. Two totally different directions that actually are going to accomplish the same exact thing, right? So that's something along the lines of that. And we have another one. I met you before somewhere, can't figure out where. Well, anyway, hello again. She says, is that your pickup line? Clever, right? So again, I would do one of two things here. I would either just say yes, that's it, just purely yes. But I think that has a chance of the girl just dropping off, not responding. So I would say, nah, you're not ready for my pickup lines yet. Yeah, kind of flipping it on her. So she's saying, oh, is that your pickup line? And you're taking the energy and you're throwing it back on her. And then she would probably respond with, oh yeah, well, I do want to hear your pickup lines. And I'll be like, oh yeah, well, when am I going to find out? And then you say, perhaps I'll tell you a few on our date, right? So you always think a few moves ahead, kind of like chess. And let's take a look at one last one. This is by far the hardest one. So if you can pass this shit test, then you are a G. All right, so this is one of the ones that was posted in the mastermind. So basically he says the girl has some of his weaknesses. She's like, haha, which are, I'm a huge fan of a woman with brains and who also has a great curvy ass. I think you got one, am I right? This is a really poor text. You never say that, because again, this is just very much like bro texting, right? But no girl is ever like, I have a great curvy ass. So I would have said something totally different while I was about to say this. I would say, I would reward this like, I would say something like intelligence, charisma, nice booty, and a cute smile. Something like that. Something a little bit more like, kind of like, I don't know, there's something that just sounds sweeter than whatever the fuck he wrote. And here she gives him a massive, massive shit test. The fact that you say ass is super lame, you don't have any more game, lol, shaking my head. So how would you guys respond to this? Okay, so I'm going to redo the response of Indian P because I thought this was really, really good one. He responded to this guy in the mastermind. He said, I'm a man with standards. Let me know if you need me to reduce mine. I'm sure you have other ways to make up for it. And bam, shit test passed. All right, hopefully you guys found this video valuable. And you know what's not a shit test? Subscribing to the channel. So make sure you guys hit the like button, hit subscribe, click the bell for notification. According to YouTube analytics, something like 75% of you haven't subscribed. So hopefully you can change that if you're enjoying this type of content. Also consider sharing this video with a few friends because it really helps us grow the channel. Also, make sure you guys check out our brand new PWF Clips channel. We're taking all the best parts of debates, podcasts, internet arguments, putting them on there, giving you guys the TLDR version. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time.